Well, hey YouTube, it's Elvis Ammo here. Hey, now today I am going to load up some powder. Now, is this old or is it too old? All right, that's the question, right? So, now I know that there's a lot of people that collect old cans and that kind of thing. Well, I happen to know a little bit about the history of this can, and it's not really had, the greatest life, really. It's been left out in the cold, I should say, probably half of its life, and the other half maybe a mix, right? So, but looking at the can, it looks great. This is really some kind of a cardboard or something like that. A good quality cardboard with metal top and a metal bottom. And you can see the bottom of it there and the top. It don't even have a screw top. As far as I know, as far as I can tell, this is probably from the early 50s. All right, that's what I would say. I mean, it could be 49, 50. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys know. I'll give you a quick look at it. Now, this is just really old powder, okay? And there's a little number right there if somebody wanted to go at it. So anyway, when we find old powders or have old powders, I guess really the best way to tell if it's good or bad is if it has a real acidic smell to it, or soured smell, or if it looks bad, those kind of things. But if it doesn't, if it looks great and smells like powder's supposed to smell, and it don't have a rancid smell to it, and it's not clumped up, then there's a good chance that it's good. Alright, so I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to load some. This stuff hasn't been loaded in a very long time, and it has a lid, like this. Alright, and I poured some powder. I don't have a lot of it, but I poured some of the powder inside this glass, and I'll put some more in there. I'll let you see it. Like that. So this is what the powder looks like, and it's a ball powder. And so I am loading some up here of that Hodgdon H110, and I decided I would load some 357 Magnums with it. They're going to look like this. They have a nice generous crimp on there, and the load data, this bullet is just one of these Lee bullets. Really, it's a Lee bullet, and it is about 165 grains, 164 grains is what they're dropping at, and it's just a mix. They're about a half grain difference in the bullets. I didn't weigh them or anything like that to get them all the same, and it's just the brass that I'm using. It's all mixed brass. I've already loaded my powder charges. I'm using small pistol Magnum primers in there because the charge is going to be 15.8 grains. Okay, so the bullet probably comes right down to the powder. You can see where the bullet goes down in about that far. So the bullet does go down, and probably just barely touches the powder. I used load data for a 160 grain bullet to play it safe, and then what I done was I used the low charge. So you can load it from 15.8 to 16.5. I'm just loading it at 15.8, and that way I feel like I can't go wrong. Okay, and you know, there's different style bullets, and some bullets have more bearing surface than others, and that kind of thing. So you know, from this bullet, it seats pretty deep. It does have a good bit of load bearing surface to it. So I took all of that into consideration. Okay, so H110, 15.8 grains, and I'm just seating them down to the very last crimp right there, and then doing a generous roll crimp as you see there. And we're going to take this out and just see if it'll shoot some groups and just see how it reacts. And you know, hopefully, you know, I'll be all right, my gun will be all right. I feel like everything's going to go smooth. I like the look of the powder. And so we're just going to load these last few right here. All I need to do, I've already put the Magnum primer in there. I sized them, the cases, and I flared the mouth of the case to accept a bullet to set on there like that. And we'll just go ahead and seat that right down, and we'll turn this to the crimping die. We'll put that crimp on it. That looks good right there. Nice generous crimp. Whenever I'm shooting 357, I like a good generous crimp. That's just me. So I'm going to put that one on there. Set the bullet on top. Seat that down to that last. Ooh, boy, I just messed that one up. Okay, we'll just set that one aside. Okay, so what I have here is I don't have the right stem in there, and I've noticed that has happened in the past, where that stem was hanging up. Let's see, did I not flare this one? I don't think I did. Okay, this is what happens on YouTube. Yep, that one I didn't. I missed that one. So here we go. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put the right stem back in there, I guess. It drives me crazy that happened. But that's the kind of thing that can happen. It shoved that bullet right down, and it stinks. So anyway, I'll go ahead and cut off of here, and we'll just go out and shoot them. How about that? Put that last crimp on that one, and that looks good. And we'll see you on the shooting range. Alright, so we're going to see what it looks like over the chronograph. 1275. $12.69. 12.55. 12.83. 12.54. Alright, so we're going to shoot a group at 15 yards and just see if they group. And it may not account for much because it just depends on how well I can shoot. But this powder is about 70 years old. So here we go. Take a look. So 15 yards, I mean, I was a little wobbly and all that, you know, but for 70-year-old powder and, you know, nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs, that's not a bad group. So it's interesting to know that we can have an old powder like this, and with just a little bit of, you know, investigating and you know, just some careful considerations on looking at the powder, smelling the powder, and just knowing that a really old powder, just because it's old, don't necessarily mean it's bad. And you know, here's the brass. I'm gonna let you see that. You know, looking at it, you're looking at it here, and you know, me personally, looking at this brass, I didn't see any concerns at all. I even I looked at some other brass of different loads that I've shot, and out of the same handgun, and there's a lot of similarities. So I don't have any concerns, but I am glad that I started at the very bottom when loading this, because when you have old powders, there's different lots of powders, and some of the old data for this powder may be a little different. So you always err on the side of caution, and load it low. In all honesty, I probably wouldn't have got more than 50 feet per second at the most if I was to try to max this out, and there's just no need for that. So with that said, I think I misspoke and said that that they were 164 grains dropping. They were 154 grains. The bullet is how they drop. Okay, and I was using you know, I used several data points just to kind of, you know, gain a consensus of what I thought was a good load. All right, but I did use 160. So on top of using 160 load data, I used, you know, the starting load at that. So, you know, as far as the grouping went, it was just the way I shot that day. Depends on what day I shoot. I shoot better, and some days I shoot worse. So there's that. And but you know, in shooting over the chronograph, it was kind of as expected. You know, I was using mixed brass. I was using I just threw the bullets down. I didn't weigh them or anything. So I'm using, you know, a semi-mixed weight bullet, you know, within, you know, a grain of each other, I guess, you know, that kind of thing. And that was that. So everything went as expected. The shots felt really great. It was actually very fun to shoot. So there we are, you know. So it's possible. If you have some old powder, definitely check it out. Definitely, you know, if you have old data for that powder, you know, probably go to that. But definitely start at the bottom. There's no reason to shoot these things, you know, at the max. So there you go. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video.